Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Archtraveler. Today, I visit another good friend studio, One Byte Design Studio. The name of it is very strange, but today my role is also very strange because I'm not only an interviewer, I am the end user of his design. So today, my purpose to come here is not only interview him, also is to criticize him.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Alan from One Byte Design Studio. I'm one of the co-founders, and my another co-founder is called Sarah. I think I should start by telling why we call One Byte. Because when we started our practice, we always think how we can share our architectural knowledge or design knowledge with the public. Food or taste is one of the ideas, because I'm sure everyone loves food, loves eating, unless you're a crazy person. We want to share the design flavor with everyone by tasting the first bite. That's why we put our name as One Byte Design Studio. As Simon mentioned, we seldom call ourselves an architectural studio, but we call ourselves a place-making studio. Because we always believe when we design a space, people are is the main element, the core element. Because they have to be, feel enjoyable within the space. So our vision is called interconnecting people and making places. First got approached by a client for reimagining the rooftop sports ground in a public estate. Oh, we found that really amazing. Because if you look at your past experience or from your memory, if I'm telling you, okay, what is a rooftop sports ground going to look like? It's going to be French roof by green wire mesh, and then the floor is going to be either red or sometimes green colors. It's very boring and very not really related to the context. But then when we first got approached by this kind of client brief, we found that, can we make something different? Because when we went to the site to look at how users engage with the space, we can see a lot of basketball players, of course, because it's a basketball playground. I forgot to say, the first project we encountered is it's called Kai Yip, in Kai Yip Estate in Kowloon Bay. It got a very good infrastructure because it's undercover, laterally ventilated, with a really eye-catching yellow cage around the area. When we visit the site, we find that, apart from the basketball players, usually youngsters, they got a lot of elderlies and other people like running around. So when we design it, we try to incorporate the idea of inclusiveness. We try to make it more intergenerational, multifunctional. So apart from basketball, this kind of facilities, we put a running track, we put really soft finishing on the floor as a Tai Chi area, even some of the outdoor gym, what we call boot camp. So there are a lot of different uses, put it into the design to try to engage with all sort of users, even from those, who don't want to go down to the playground, just by, standing in the flat. When they look outside from the window, they can see a colorful patterns on the floor to kind of visually engage with them, try to come, can you come down to look at the beautiful places? So somehow we use colors, different kind of functional, additional functions to put it inside the sports ground to try to get more people involved in the project. For the second project, we work with the same client. It's in Siu Hei Court in Tuen Mun. Before we started designing anything, we went to the site to do more like intensive user observations. So when we went to the morning, we see our elderly playing Tai Chi, playing sort of different kind of activities that I don't know how to do it. And then in the afternoon, we saw like secondary students. They came after school to play dancing or like
hip hop.
Hip hop jazz fun kind of thing. And then during the night time, we see other youngsters coming here just to hang out, to have a dinner or to kind of chit chat. So in that project, we try to also incorporate a lot more activities or possibilities. So we built a stage because usually, if you remember the sports ground on the rooftop, they don't have any shelter. So by that project, we inserted a stage with cantilever structure with a canopy, and then some kind of tile installation. So I mean, even like family with kids, they can play ball with those little tiles. And then there's also one feature, what we call unstructured play. It's on the floor with a floor marks with some of the text to provoke your possibilities of how to use these spaces. After the project is done, we went to the site, we saw like youngsters playing drama, playing dance, or all sort of different activities. I mean, this is something that we create as a multi-purpose area instead of a single-use spaces. In Hong Kong, usually for those basketball court, you usually only play basketball. For football pitch, you only play football. But this is provide another opportunity, so we can create.
At first, this bookshop is a very old bookshop. It's old brand. They originally is also have another bookshop in Tsim Sha Tsui, but in the basement of a modern shopping mall. I quite like it because it's very spacious and also have a good seminar room. We can have a proper seminar, and lucky enough, I'm one of the user of the seminar room. I really like that place. Unfortunately, because of various reasons, they need to move to the new building. This building is in a good location, but it's a very old building of the Tsim Sha Tsui area of Hong Kong. So it's a very challenging project, I know.
Old tradition of the from the client. I mean, there's old images. But then when we first got approached for this project, we tried to create another different ambience within the bookstore. Because I mean, I used to buy a lot of books. I love books, design books especially. In Hong Kong recently, we find that a lot of design bookstores got closed down. So when we got this project, we find really excited how we can create another experience as a bookstore. So when we first designed it, we try to give you the old image of the client, and then try to persuade through a lot of workshops. Basically, try to tell them what is the modern bookstore is going to look like, how we can persuade them. Quantity doesn't mean sales, because when we want to create something different as a bookstore, we usually have to get rid of the bookshelf, to be honest. Because if you look at the old traditional bookstores, there are pack of like bookshelves right in front of the entrance. So we can't create any extra spaces for all sorts of things that are going to happen. So there are a lot of engagement with the client, how we can persuade them to make a different ambience. And then the one interesting features that Simon mentioned about the seminar room is also addressed to the pandemic situation. We created a live room, also multifunctional, as a seminar room. So basically, the client can have a pure online event, like invite a different author to have a discussion, or a hybrid mode, or even physical seminars. This is something that makes the bookstore a little bit stand out. And another part is there's also a cafe called After Work. So we want to bring the user, the visitors, after they enjoying wandering around the bookstore, they can have a taste of the coffee. More like when you flip through the book at the end, you will see the afterwork. Some kind of, you can remember the whole journey inside the bookstore.
Okay. As one of the end user of this space, I would like to say that he did quite well. He did quite well. Yeah, because in Hong Kong, the bookstore is very packed. Although it's a big store, you don't have any proper space. Is for the seminar or for the gathering to let the writer is to meet their reader, their fans. You rarely can have such space. Yeah, and then even though you have one, like in Causeway Bay or in Tsim Sha Tsui, the Taiwanese the bookstore, they invent a new business model. Have a proper seminar room, a seminar place, but not a seminar room. So when you're doing a seminar, the noise is quite distracting to the speakers. Yeah. In there, you can get quite spacious. My kids can look around, can play around, and can browse the different books. You have such a space. That is very abnormal in Hong Kong. How can you convince your client?
I think really, I mean, we did a lot of discussions with them, try to bring out a lot of research, even from Japan bookstores because Japan they got a lot of innovative approach as running a bookstore. Also some of the reference not only from bookstore or even from all sort of cultural projects. So try to convince them quantity doesn't mean sales. And then also because the bookstore, the main floor is on the first floor, they have to go through a messy retail area from ground floor to mezzanine floor to the first floor. We try to inject the idea of curation, more like on exhibition side. And then it's also, we pay a lot of effort to try to convince those areas, so not only for sales, but to more motivating the visitors, to try to engage them through the entry experience into the main floor. So it's something that, of course, we have to thank you for the client to giving us this kind of opportunities. And then also when we visited the bookstore afterwards, we saw a lot of visitors that sitting up, basically all the chair benches, they're full of people. And then they told us, even like this, sales, more like equivalent to those in the shopping mall, even it's just open. So we give us a really big compliment. Like
in this art gallery, I found that cookbook, and also is the dining guide, and also dishes and the cup. Why in the gallery we have such a cookbook?
The name of this cookbook is called Neighborhood Cookbook. It was, created by and from an NGO characters. They got a spaces in Sektongzhui, an area with a lot of subdivided units. And in this location, there was a donor who paid the rent for this space. Originally, it's a pizza restaurant, and to allow the subdivided families to come over to enjoy the dinner, to enjoy a meal. And then also supported by markets or different shop owners who didn't, able to sell the vegetables or food and then put it back to them for them to use it freely. And then, from this book, we created an entire book by interviewing them. So basically the recipe, the cookbook is not from us, but it's from them. Because most of them, they are from mainland China as immigrants to Hong Kong. So they may be very talented to, have a different nice food. So we interview them and try to let them to share with us their own story, and then with a nice best food that they can provide it for us. So this is something that work with the community, but try to bring up the ideas or the scenario of the subdivided families. How they live in Hong Kong. So this is one of the ideas. For this book. This one we call the toolkit for the age-friendly community kitchen. The project is curated by Donghua Hospitals, because when they started the first community kitchen in Hong Kong, they found that there were a lot of improvement, no matter from interior design to the operation. So once we received this project brief, we carry out a series of workshops with the users, with the operators, and then try to see what will be the improvement. So we created an entire a guidebook from spatial design, also to operation, to storage, all the stuff. So basically, it serves as a guidebook for future operators to use this guidebook when they're designing a communication without a designer. This is the product that we collaborated with another NGO called Liu Life Psychiatric Association. So basically, you see this amazing work. They're not done by us. They are done by those mentally recovered person, what we call person in recovery, PIR. So we put their amazing artwork into a product, and then we sell it in a normal price. Because when we talk about artistic sense, artistic knowledge, it's not only on normal person. For those mentally recovered person, they also got the same talent. So we want to use this product to celebrate their talents. So basically, you will see there are a lot of amazing artwork here. There's a lot more serious. And then the name of this project is not Gift 330. Gift is meant by present, but also gift means the talents that the world gave them. So we want to celebrate with them, and then want to give us a moment. So this is how the project is created.
Okay. As you can see, that is for the architect's career can be developed in the various different aspects. You not only limited to the building design or interior design, you can try is the playground design, you can try the exhibition booth or is a bookshop design, and even is you can try to do the cookbook or product design.
For coming years, I think we will still go for the direction of place-making design, because when we further go into the design for public spaces, we can really involve a lot more public. And then recently, we got a lot of projects involving design thinking. Through design thinking process, we can engage a lot more end users. So once we establish a relationship with them, we understand clearly about their users at the end, so we can create a more enjoyable, feasible design for them in the future. This is our vision.